Welcome to Business as a Magical Practice, where your business is the vehicle for your self-integration and soul evolution. My name is Sam Garcia, and I'm the founder of Dirty Alchemy Digital Marketing. And I'll be guiding you through how you can use your business as a spiritual practice and what magical businesses are doing to hit their goals and change the world. Together, we'll be relating the mystical to the world of business so that our work can unite spirit and matter, shadow and light, conscious and unconscious. Let's dive in.
Hi everyone. Okay, I'm doing something special today. I am doing an Instagram Live, which as a way of recording this week's Business as a Magical Practice podcast. So tech might be weird on the back end, but I have this lovely guest, Elizabeth Lyons. Okay, so Elizabeth is a 5-time author who helps people write powerful, thought-provoking books that give them credible authority and that readers can't put down. Outside of the world of storytelling, she's a mom of 5, a DIY addict, a decaf coffee lover, and cupcake enthusiast. So that's interesting.
Yes. All day. Cupcakes all day.
Cupcakes all day. And today we're going to be talking about when is the right time to write a book as a business owner? And let me tell you, there are definitely, it's not always. It's not, the answer is not always. And I know. I actually in this last round or this current round of my mastermind, the Alchemical Business Intensive, there were a few people thinking about writing a book and I advised them not to. I was like, if your goal right now in the beginning of your business journey, if your goal is like, I really need more revenue, don't write a book right now.
Way too much. And I'll say that too. So there are plenty of people out there who are like, it's always the right time.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line on this one. Because if your focus is generating cash flow, to be honest, you are going to be too pressured by that reality to be able to write a truly powerful book.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not wait till everything is perfect and life is glorious and like the birds are chirping at all times. It's not that. That's not the message.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, if you're just getting started, if you're going into a new realm, if your focus is generating cash flow, it's probably not the best time.
So I'm really something that I feel deeply is I've felt for a while is like, I know that I want to write a book or multiple books in the long run. But for the last few years, I've been focusing on my business and we've gotten to a certain point of success. And I'm like, oh, I can actually start feeling like it might start being time to write the book. So I really wanted to bring Elizabeth on here. I mean, she has an amazing podcast called Write the Damn Book Already. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to talk about like when is the right time and some common myths and mistakes that people go wrong, especially business owners when it comes to writing a book. And especially if you want the book to be a part of your business plan.
Yeah.
So how do you know? How do you know if it's time?
So it's very easy to know, again, when it's not time. It's easier to assess when it's not the right time than when it is the right time. And there are only a few instances when I would agree that it's not the right time. So one of them is what we just talked about, right? You're focused on revenue generation, growing your business, that sort of a thing. Like big time focus. Not like focused on going from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 figures, but like trying to put food, trying to get anything going.
Yeah.
If you're about to have a baby or babies, maybe not the best time. If you're about to move cross country with your whole family and you're going to be uprooted for 3 to 4 weeks, maybe hang on for a second. Mm-hmm. But other than that, other than major stuff like that, in most cases, you are just coming up with a story, pun intended, and a reason why now's not the right time. And you'll continue to do that in perpetuity. I promise.
And just to be clear, you're not saying that a book has to be your number one priority to get it out into the world, right?
Absolutely not. In fact, for most of my clients, it's not. Like, I often talk about the concept of like eat, pray, loving your book into the world. Like, because when Pray Love came out, right? People were like, oh, Elizabeth, not me, Elizabeth, but Elizabeth Gilbert. Like, great, you can go off for 3 months and go to an ashram, and I can't do that. this is in a similar vein. It's not required that you go out into a cabin in the middle of the woods for a month and sequester yourself in order to get the book done. Most people who I work with and who I know, even if I'm not working with them, who are writing books, are doing it on the side of other things. And I wrote my first book with 3 kids under the age of 2. So it's doable. It's all about having a plan and proper expectations.
And then, so when is the right time, or how do you know it's time to write the damn book already?
If you have an idea or you feel drawn to share something with the world, whether it's your story or your process, and you are not living dollar to dollar, about to have quadruplets, or getting to move to another country, then it's a great time.
And I feel like just from talking to you previously, you've mentioned that an element of this is people need to be inspired to write the book. It's not just like, I think this is a good business move, so I'm going to write a book. It's like,
No. One of my pet peeves, if we want to call it that, is the phrase like, the book is the new business card. And I'll tell you why. So conceptually, I don't disagree. But in theory, it takes like 30 seconds to create a business card. And so the idea that it's like apples and apples I don't agree with at all. And is it a way to grow your business? Unequivocally. Like, it's undeniably a way to grow your business. But is it a situation where you just whip something out in a weekend and then go, oh my God, I'm a best-selling author, and because you hit number 2 in macrame, even though your book is about nutrition, because you just placed it in a weird category in order to be able to say I'm a bestseller, and think that that's going to bring you all day. It's one of the prevailing like strategies, and it's made it, this is a thing that just gets me on my soapbox, because it's made it so that when people say they're a best-selling author, they get looked at a little bit sideways. And one of the main reasons for that is because when you say I'm a best-selling author, and then someone goes and looks you up on Amazon and you have 1 review, and you scroll down and you're number 1,672,452 in the whole store, they're like, it creates a disconnect for them where now they don't trust you. You're better off just saying, I've written a book. Coming out of the gate and being like, I'm a best-selling, my favorite is, I'm an international best-selling author. I'm like, what does that mean? There's no international chart for this. So, and honestly, in all honesty, if people want to do that for their own, like from an ego standpoint, to be like, I'm a best-selling author, I did this, that's not what I have a problem with. And it's not even that I have a problem. It's that they then are disappointed because they've been sold the idea that if you can just hit bestseller status by any means necessary, that's all it takes for you to sell thousands of books and get thousands of new clients and make millions of dollars. And that part is absolutely not true.
I want to go into this for sure in this conversation, but before that, I just want to let's hear that lovely listicle of benefits of writing a book as a business owner, just in case we're not clear.
There's a lot. I mean, number 1, it does absolutely increase your credible authority. That part is still true. If you take the time to write a powerful book, not just if you whip something out in a weekend, but if you really do take the time to put all of your thoughts into a coherent book in between the pages, it absolutely increases your authority, which does give you it opens a lot of doors. It gives you a lot of opportunities, whether it's getting in the door of local news or getting on podcasts, getting on stages, being a guest on summits, putting together a course, putting together consulting, whatever you want to do, it undeniably does that. One of the reasons it does that is because, and this is another benefit, you get so undeniably clear on your process. We all think, including me, because I'm writing book number 6 right now, which is about how to write a book. And I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I am incredibly clear about at least my process on how to write a book. But when you have to put it into words and fill a powerful book with it, you realize that, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I thought about that way. Or you have to start asking yourself, how did I learn that? And then you start extricating your own stories of how you learned that, which only makes the book more powerful. So a third way that it's of benefit is, especially if you're like local and you want to, this is an altruistic thing, but it's a beautiful thing. If you just want to help someone else who is either geographically not able to work with you because you do one-on-one work, maybe you're a physical, like a fitness expert, and you're a personal trainer and you work with people, but you want to be able to still impact other people. So maybe it's geography and maybe it's finances. Maybe they could geographically work with you, but financially you're just not in their price point right now of what they've budgeted. It's a way for you to help. And they'll still, not only will they likely follow you and continue to build a rapport with you if you've put that energy into writing a powerful book, but you never know who they're going to share you with. That's the piece that people forget. Just because someone buys your book and they're not your ideal client doesn't mean that they won't have a conversation at some point with a friend or a family member or a colleague or a coworker or a perfect stranger and be like, you know, that's how I found so many people who I love, and many I've ended up working with, is because that's the best recommendation ever. It's someone else, totally unpaid, unsolicited, saying, oh, you got to check out Sam. You got to check out Sam Garcia. Like, she's got some great wisdom. And then they're like, oh, okay. And so it's an entry point in. But it can be quick and it can be a longer burn.
And is it effective? Because you hear all the time that no one finishes books. There's like, there's got to be insane statistics around that. Do you think you still have the benefits when people don't finish the book? It seems like it would be, where it wouldn't be with other like courses and stuff. But if they actually finish, do they have to finish the book for it to work, I guess?
No, but to be clear, the issue with people not finishing a book is not, in my opinion, because people don't read books anymore, people don't finish books anymore. Here's what it is. It's because I just finished a 300, now it was fiction, granted, but it was 385 pages and I read it in 3 days. And that is like unheard of for me. I'm usually reading 7 books at a time, and it takes me a long time to finish any of them. And a lot of them do get set down halfway through. And the reason is because the author is doing one of 2 things. Well, one of 3 things. Either the flow isn't there. So I'm easily I'm not committed to it. I don't know where we're going. They're repeating themselves over and over again in order to hit a specific word count. Or they didn't write it with the right intention. So they just sat down and were like, I need to hit 50,000 words. I'm just going to write a bunch of stuff. And that doesn't keep someone like interested and intrigued.
So I'm guessing this can come out of the write a book in a weekend sort of deals. And I've been targeted with ads around like, write your book in 30 days and write your book in a weekend. And it's unquestionably appealing.
It 100% is appealing. You know why it's appealing? Because when someone's like, you can grow your business from 0 to 6 figures just by following these 10 steps in 6 months, that's really appealing too. You know, when someone's like, I went from this physique to this physique in 30 days. You can too. That's super appealing. Like, we're human. So it's super appealing, this notion that like we can do but by the same argument, if someone had told me it was going to take me as long as it's taken me to build my business, it probably wouldn't have started. You know, it's really just like, I'm so great. And that doesn't mean that it has to take eons, by the way, but sometimes I'm so grateful for what I didn't know, you know, before I dove into it, because then that being said, the amount of insight that whether you're improving your physique, growing your business, working on your messaging, working on your branding, you know, whatever it is, when you can look at it not from the place of, well, this is where I started and this is where I'm trying to get, and oh my God, it's taking forever, but having a sense of appreciation each step along the way for like, holy cow, I recognized X today.
Yeah.
Or because when you write a book in that way, you get so much content. That's the other reason it benefits your business. You're so clear about what you're talking about and why it's valuable and why it's helpful that you have content for days.
Yeah. Well, and something you've mentioned is a lot of people come to you and say, I want to write a book, but I'm not a writer.
Oh yeah.
This feels relevant. So tell me more. I'm like trying to draw something out of you.
Yeah. You are. Okay. So I think I might know what you're trying to draw out of me. So I did a live this morning with Julie Solomon, who just wrote a book, Get What You Want. And it's really great. And I had asked her because in her prologue, I read it out. She said, I'm not a writer. I have terrible grammar. I don't know how to edit. Like, I had all these reasons not to do this. And I just had to laugh because, not laugh, obviously, laugh with her, because it was just, I don't have, my undergrad is in Japanese. Like, I'm not a trained writer. I don't have an MFA in fine writing. One of the things that's interesting is that when people come to me and they say, but I'm not a writer, I look at their social media and I'm like, you're a prolific writer. I see all these posts on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm betting that you send even more to your email list. You just think that you need to be a specific kind of writer in order to write a book. And that's not true. It's the exact same writing. It's the exact same approach. In fact, people don't recognize how, first of all, when it comes to grammar and all that, that's why we have editors. Second of all, when you're writing social media posts and emails, you're writing them in your own voice. I hope. I mean, when people are doing that, that's how they're attracting like their people, because then their people meet them and they're like, oh yeah, you're exactly what I expected, which is what we want. That's what you want in a book too. You want people to see and hear you. And one of the best compliments I think you can get as an author is like, oh my God, I felt like I was in the room with you. Like I felt like you were talking right to me. I could hear you. I could hear these words coming out of your mouth.
Okay, so going back, I'm jumping back a little bit because selfish question of, in general, how is there a general number of how long it takes to write a book?
God, I mean, I do it in my program. We do it in 12 weeks. Not everybody gets it done in 12 weeks, though.
That's so short.
I know. It's okay. Like, so the answer is sort of no. I mean, there are people who will tell you, oh, I wrote it in fact, it's funny because you mentioned earlier the Facebook posts, and I get inundated with them as well when it comes to like, oh, here's the newest program. And I'm always curious and not, there's a place for everything. So I'm not the girl who's going to be like, this is the wrong approach. That's not me. But there are programs that are like, it takes 20 hours to write a good book. And I had, or whatever. And I had seen a post earlier today by another coach who said, you know, I've got this new program. It takes 20, I don't remember, but let's say hypothetically 20 hours. And I actually surveyed my recent clients and asked them how long it took them. And one person actually said 7 hours.
Wow.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't, if we could all write an incredibly powerful book in 7 hours, I think if you talk to any truly best-selling author, and I don't even mean it, becoming a best-selling author is not that's not necessary to have a huge impact and to bring a lot of people to your business, if that's your goal. That has not, the two don't go hand in hand at all. I know plenty of people who are selling thousands of books and have never hit a bestseller list. And I know a lot of people who have hit bestseller lists and have no idea how they're going to make their electric payment this month. So those two things don't necessarily go together. I think it comes down to how clear you are on your message, how clear you are on what you want to say, and how much time you set aside per day or per week to sit down and actually do the damn thing. I really do. And I know from personal experience that even with 5 kids, and my kids are older now, but nevertheless, I can do it in 12 weeks because I get really clear, and I'm not always the most consistent. And this is the thing I love, is that people will say to me, well, Elizabeth, you must be so consistent. You must write every single day. I haven't written in 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
I will be completely honest and transparent about the fact that, like, I have days and weeks when it just doesn't, it's not in the cards. Other things come up.
Yeah.
But I do still get my butt in that chair, or whatever, wherever, on the couch, wherever it needs to be, with my laptop in my lap, in order to get it done, because I know exactly what I want to say and why. And I encourage people to, before they even start, develop a vision of what it will look and feel like when they're finished. Because when you can return to that, when you're having these moments of doubt, or I'm stuck, or I don't feel like doing this, or I don't know if this is worth it, it's like anything else, it's very helpful.
So I'm guessing that your 6th book is a very different process than writing your first book, just in terms of, like, you kind of know what the process is. So there's not this, like, big element of mystery of, like, will it ever be done? Will it ever be good? What I like, there's, like, the, instead of the, like, lack of trust, or, like, the doubt that comes in. And I'm curious what you would tell that first time writer, Elizabeth.
I've never been asked that question. That person I would have told buckle up, because I actually didn't realize how well that book was going to do and how many opportunities it was going to open up. So because that book was about being a parent of newborn twins, it opened up all these possibilities for me to, like, work what I would call, it wasn't like, well, it kind of was like Lamaze for multiples, but they were hospital-based programs called Marvelous Multiples, where I got to go in and help all these people, and they ordered my books and all these different things. I didn't even, like, I was so naive to what was available. I mean, this was 18, 19 years ago. And it was a very different process. I probably wrote that book in 8 months, and I learned the process that I have, not only from writing that book and the 4 books that came after, but working with people for so many years. And it's not just me and how I write books, it's how other people have as well, to distinctly get from point A to point B. But the other thing I would definitely tell that person is to trust myself, because it wasn't, even though it went really well in the end, it wasn't the smoothest ride. I was a vanity publisher in the beginning, and it was not awesome. There were a lot of hiccups and issues. So I had to back out of that and that's how I learned how to self-publish in a way that a book is indistinguishable in quality from a New York Times bestseller, because that's what I was committed to.
Yeah.
But I had to figure it all out on my own.
And what would you tell her about the writing process?
I would tell her, have more of a plan. In that regard, I was writing it as I was living it, just a few months kind of in arrears, if you will. So I really have a plan or an outline. Like, I was a full-on creative, and I hung my hat on that title. Like, I was like, I'm a creative. I don't need an outline. I don't need a business plan. I don't, let's build a house. Who needs plans? Just put up some 2x, like, let's just build it as we go. But what happens when you do that many times is, like, you forget the bathroom or the kitchen, and it makes it very difficult. So the editing process on that book was significant.
Yeah. Well, even as you were saying, the amount of hours in general it would take to write a book, what was coming in my head of, like, the books that probably are shorter were really, really clearly outlined. They had a really clear path that they were following, and they were just, like, fleshing everything out.
100%. And people go to different depths of outlining, and that is very much person dependent, but I do encourage people to go deeper than just the highest possible level. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Like, let's get more deeply into that. And I have a whole process for that. But more deeply you go into the outline, the more thoroughly you're almost writing as you go. And that, as far as timing, I only ask my clients to give me 20, or not me, but to give their book 20 to 30 minutes a day.
Wow.
That's it. You would be amazed, because I am, when you have an outline and you can sit down and not spend the first 10 minutes of sitting there going, what am I going to write about? What I don't know. Like, when you can just sit down and go, today we're tackling this, and you just write it all out without being a perfectionist about it, without worrying about grammar, without worrying about structure. You're just getting it from here onto the page.
Yeah.
The amount you can write in 20 to 30 minutes is significant.
Yeah.
And even when people are having a day where they're like, I'm not feeling it, I say 5 minutes. You'd be surprised by how many times that 5 minutes turns into 15.
Yeah.
And it just all builds.
This is so good.
So that's interesting about the 20 to 30 minutes a day and the 5 minutes if you can't do anything. Because I was just working on a new email opt-in sequence for after someone comes in on a lead magnet. And I was following a mentor's process, and she kind of gave prompts for each email and was like, put a 10-minute timer on and just go. And I found myself like, when I set the 10-minute timer, it was really easy for me to jump into it because I felt like I had to race the timer. But then the 10 minutes hit and I was like, well, I'm not done. Like, I need to keep going. So it felt like a little brain hack.
It totally is though, right? Like I do it in the area of fitness because I cannot stand working out, cannot stand it. So I trick myself by saying, I'm going to do 50 mountain climbers, and I'm up to like 95 because I get to 50 and I'm like, I'll just keep going. So I think it's just a good life hack in general. Like you don't want to do something, just instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm going to spend the next 2 hours, like trying to write this content or this chapter or whatever.
Yeah.
Plus, like you said, if you're a competitive person, that starts to come into play too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I was texting a different Elizabeth from my team who is an actual writer and like writes novels, and like also the copywriter on my team. And I was texting her about it, and she was like, just get it out and edit later, get it out and edit later. So it was nice to have that
day. So, and I tell people that I'm like, you are not allowed. I mean, of course I only have so much control over my people, but you are not allowed to edit until the whole book is written. Because that will slow people down for months. I cannot tell you the number of times. This became a rule for my clients a couple of years ago, because I had clients who would be like, well, I'm like, they didn't use the word perfecting, but I'm honing chapter 6. It's just not, as soon as I get this like just right, I'll move on to chapter 7. And I was like, 2 years later, they're still on chapter 6. They're still honing chapter 6. It's just it's totally normal to do that. But it's not necessary. It's not productive. So,
So you mentioned a few of these, but I'm curious, where do business owners go wrong in their like perception of what a book is or their writing process? What are like the biggest mistakes you see with business owners who are writing books for their business?
What's that?
For their business,
Yeah. So one of them that we already talked about was, just whipping something out really quickly and thinking that it's going to blow up the business in a good way and whatever. Another one that I see is not having an appreciation. It's almost like you take the time to build your business, but then you don't recognize that a book is really just an extension or a component of your business. It takes a similar amount of, I don't want to say it's the same, but it takes the same amount of dedication to getting it out into the world and sustaining that. Now, if you don't want to do that, that's okay. But you have
by out in the world, you're not saying like out of your body onto the page. You're saying like marketing and getting people to actually read it. Okay.
Yeah. So lots of times, not just business owners, but authors in general, they go to launch a book and I've often said that launch day is the most anticlimactic day ever, especially if you've set it up properly, because your friends and your family and all those people are going to buy it, or they're not. That's a big surprise for a lot of people is, people are like, oh, these people said they were going to buy it and I've had 4 sales today. What's going on? And they take it personally. It's not personal. either number one, it is personal and they just don't want it, or number two, they're really busy. Like maybe they saw the text or the while they were at a red light, which, you know, please don't open up Amazon and order then. So they need a reminder. I mean, the old adage about someone needs to see something 7 to 13 times before they actually buy it still holds true. And people need to know, this is another thing, another mistake. People need to know why the book benefits them or how the book will benefit them, even if they know the author. Lots of times authors will think, I have a massive audience, so this book is going to be so easy to sell. All I have to do is say, I wrote a book, and they're going to buy it. And in some cases, like for a percentage of your audience, that's probably true. But you'll be surprised as the author how many people don't, because as humans, if we don't get it, we're not that altruistic where we're like, well, I'm going to buy it just to be of support, especially if it's $13, $14, $15. And we have to make the effort to go out to Amazon and put it in our cart and check out and all of that. So
like, I don't want to just add another book that I'm not going to read to my Kindle library.
Exactly. And to be honest, that's not what the author really wants. So there are a lot of people who go on these big, massive campaigns. You know, the book is free today, go download it. I'm not saying that that's wrong. And there is a time and a place for it. But for the most part, especially, it's different in fiction, but in nonfiction and memoir, when people download a book because it's free and they're just trying to be supportive, or it's just free, they never open it. So if you've written a book in order to grow your business, but the person who ordered it or downloaded it for free or whatever never opens it, you have exactly the same opportunity to grow your business through them as you had before they bought the book, which was zero.
Yeah.
This
is something that like so applies with like launching any sort of business offering, because a lot of people get really good at sales. Like it is a skill that, or marketing, like it is a skill set that you can learn, and suddenly it's really easy to sell anything. But if you aren't setting up an onboarding process so that people actually open the thing and start the course or like whatever, or you don't have a really great curriculum that is keeping people engaged throughout the process, like you're never going to get the testimonials and the case studies that you want. It's going to be harder to get new clients going forward. So that I see so much mirroring for that.
There 100%. It just becomes a long-term grind where you're always seeking out new people, as opposed to when you write something with the intention of, like I always say, of love, being of love and service. Like that's the goal, really. Then they do your marketing for you. Because they're reading the book in the airport, they're reading the book at the coffee shop, or they're talking to someone, or someone posts, we see it all the time on social media, what book are you reading right now? I have an Audible credit, you know, what do you recommend? And that's where people start dropping those titles. So
no, and I have a short list of books that I like really advocate. I'm like, you just need to read this. Just read this. I buy it for people. And at an event a few months ago, someone was like, oh my gosh, I'm like listening to this one book on the plane and I just like binge through it. And I never do that. Like download it right now, buy it right now. So like we do this.
We 100% do this. And the thing is that today in 2022, like people feel as disconnected as they've ever felt, even with immediate face-to-face access with people. I think we feel so disconnected. So when we actually, to go back to your earlier comment about like people don't make it all the way through a book, when you do make it all the way through a book, you're like, you got to read this book. You got to read this book. And people listen because you're not hearing that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to ask random specific questions.
Okay.
Is a good way to do that to like have a thread of a story going through, because we're talking nonfictions and memoirs, like that's your specialty. And for business, you're obviously going to be writing a nonfiction book if you're using it for business. Like I'm assuming like having like a thread of a storyline throughout the book would help people actually get to the end. Is this
so much true? So much, because essentially what you're doing, and it's funny, I call it the thread line or the through line, either way. Like I think that A lot of people in the industry call it the through line. And I think of it as thread because I'm a visual person. So I like imagine the needle and it's like, that's the thread. And I say that to my clients all the time, like that's the thread. Because when you figure out what that is, I mean, when you're writing nonfiction and you're taking someone through business steps, essentially the reason that you're telling story is it's illustrative. So it takes a principle that's sterile because it's just a principle. It's just a step. And you're helping your reader to see it from a different angle. It's kind of like there are people who learn visually, there are people who learn auditory, there are people who learn tactile, like we all have different learning styles. And for many, many people, the illustrative aspect of here's how to do this really helps them figure out how to incorporate it into their life. The other thing it does is it makes you human. So nobody wants to read a book or hear a story from someone who's like, listen, I was born and everything was amazing. And then I was 5 and it was also amazing. And now I'm 50 and it's also amazing. Like that is incredibly boring. And no one believes you because that's not real life. So when you can, with what I call powerful vulnerability, say, I get it. Like, I know I'm going to suggest something to you. I'm going to suggest that you do this thing. And I know how you're going to feel. They're like, oh my God, she gets me. She understands me. And it builds this connection and this rapport. It's trust.
Yeah.
And then in many cases, they're like, I want more of this. Like I'm at the end of the book and now I want more.
Well, another element that a lot of people don't realize that's a barrier to sales is people not believing in themselves. Like we always put it on ourselves, like, oh, they don't like me. Oh, my offer is not good enough. I'm not good enough. My business isn't good enough. But a huge part of it, most of the time, is them not believing in themselves that it's possible for them. So I'm imagining like you telling a story of like, this is how I did it, sharing all the vulnerable aspects, sharing how like you were before, like they can actually grasp with their brain, like, oh, maybe it's possible for me. Right. And like, that could actually make a sale so much easier.
That's the beauty of it. So my passion has always been, even before I started coaching, entrepreneur backstories. So I don't know if you're familiar with Marie Forleo, but for me, it started with Marie Forleo. And I've been following Marie Forleo for over a decade. And I remember, like, let's not do the math on how old I might be, but I remember when Marie started and she was in her 500 square foot New York City apartment, coming home at night after her 9-to-5 job, sitting in front of a big clunky computer in her dark apartment, recording videos. But people who find Marie today and see her, I don't know if she still has it, but the big studio and all of her assistants and her video guy, all this, you can look at that and be like, but were you ever where I am right now? Yeah. And so I always loved that she was so transparent about like, look, guys, this is where I didn't always have it. It wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
And when we can share that again, in a powerful way, it helps to debunk the story that your reader has told themselves about, because we're always looking for reasons why it won't work for us. Yeah. So we'll read, we'll hear about someone's success and we'll think, well, they must have a trust fund, or they must know people, or their husband's a movie producer. So clearly that's and it's 9 times out of 10, it's not true.
Yeah.
Lots of times those things that we perceive to be of help to them, they'll actually say that was actually a hindrance to me. And so when we can hear in that way, we can see ourselves in them. And that's where the phrase, if I can do it, so can you, comes from. Because you're, if I can write a book with 3 kids under the age of 2, no outside assistance, no nanny, no relative living within 2,000 miles, you can too. No writing degree, no writing coach. God, were laptops even invented? Like, no social media, that didn't exist. Amazon didn't exist. So Yeah.
Hear that, guys?
Yeah.
You can too.
Okay, too. Yeah.
Oh, let me just like go look at my excuses
Right.
over here.
Well, and it's not, I'm not an excuse shamer. Like I've had them all too. That's why I get it. I mean, having done this particular thing for so long, I never say never, but I would be surprised at this point if I heard an excuse, air quotes, that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
And they all make sense. And also it's like, what's under the excuse? Because if you knew,
they're probably all good excuses, but like, are you going to let the good excuse be the barrier to what you actually want?
Well, and like, what fear is the good excuse hiding? Because if you knew, and this is something I say often, like, what if you knew? Like, if you knew your business were going to reach 7 figures, like, would you be willing to put in the effort for a decade to get it there? Most of the time, the answer is yes, unless you have some reason why you need to get it there sooner. Mm-hmm. It's that fear of like, but what if it doesn't?
Yeah.
And what does that mean? Like, what does that say about me? Have I wasted my time? Am I irresponsible? Am I stupid?
Well, the waste of time is like a big thing that pops up in my head around it with everything in it. But I'm curious, like how do people not make sure they're not wasting their time writing a book? Like, and I'm not saying like to not write it, but like what are the pitfalls that would waste time when writing a book? I guess
the wrong expectations all day. All day. So reframing, look, I'm all about huge dreams. I am here for massive dreams. Like I wanted to be on Oprah. I wanted to be on Ellen. I wanted to be on, like, neither of those is an option anymore. What?
Oh, why not?
Oh, I have a picture. I'm going to embarrass myself. Look at this.
Wait, why aren't they an option anymore?
Well, because neither of them is on air anymore. Well, Oprah has her Soul series. So this is Ellen and this is me. Now, to be clear, this is my head and it's Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy's body. Okay.
I love this.
And I did this literally like 15 years. I think this is Ellen's first or second season.
Wait, so this is a double manifestation where it's like your fitness goals and
my height goals. It's my fitness goals, my height goals, and my interview goals. It's a triple manifestation that didn't happen yet, but I'm still here for it. And I'm going to be wearing these white pants and a black shirt. Like, mark my words. This is so happy.
Hey, you guys, if you're listening to the podcast and we're not watching the video that may or may not be on YouTube, it was a wonderful, very realistic looking picture of Elizabeth talking to Ellen on her show.
It was good. It was a good Photoshop of my head on top of Ellen Pompeo's during Ellen's interview with Ellen. It was Ellen and Ellen. And I have these dreams still of being able to take this to Ellen and just being like, and like taking a picture with Ellen with this picture. Anyway, so I'm here for the big dreams is the point. Like I am here for it. And also, if that is the only measure of, see the air quotes, success, if your measure of success when you're writing a book, building a business, like whatever it is external, it relies on someone else. So it's a certain number of sales, a certain amount of money, getting on a certain show, have the goal, but make sure that you are, number one, not attributing your success to reaching those exact goals in a particular amount of time. But number two, that you also recognize the incredible benefits that you're getting every single day that have nothing to do with any of that. So when you're sitting down and you're getting clear about your process and about your journey, that clarity gives you a level of confidence that makes it so much more comfortable for you to show up live, for you to write posts, for you to resonate with your ideal clients if you're a business owner, for you to show up on TV, for you to talk on podcasts. You don't feel tongue-tied anymore when people ask you questions about things because you have all the answers. Those are benefits that, because they don't have a monetary attachment or a fame attachment to them, sometimes we discount them, we dismiss them. And it's such a disservice because it's the biggest part of like that level of growth that you have while you're writing the book your life will expand in ways that you cannot imagine. I mean, everything that I have done in my life since writing that first book has somehow been a result of having written that first book and then the second book and then the third, whether it was the increased confidence.
Give us some examples.
So like the increased confidence to just put myself out there allowed me to like, and listen, I've been rejected too. I've sent boxes of books to Gayle King, Oprah's best friend, when she had a radio show, never heard anything. I ended up, there was an HGTV star who had a very popular show for a time. And I saw on Facebook, this is when I was designing jewelry also. So I wasn't book coaching yet. Because to be honest, I was like, why would I book coach? I'm not certified. Like, yeah, at the time I had written 3 books, but it was like, what? Anyway, I was designing jewelry and she had said she wanted a copper bracelet. And she had like 1,000 comments and I commented too. And I was like, I can make you something. And she actually responded and was like, okay, I did. She wore it on her show. She promoted, she sold my book. Like we were in partnership for a couple of years together. Because of my books, I was able to pitch local news. It wasn't a show, but I was on a segment. We were talking about it earlier called Coffee Talk once a month with a bunch of, it was the most fun. Through that, I met, certain other local business owners and there was network, like it just opened so many doors and opportunities because I knew who I was. I was doing keynotes for moms of twins clubs across the country, paid, I ended up getting some jewelry on Kathy Lee Gifford when she was hosting. Is she still hosting the Today Show? She's now Kathy Lee, but for 4 hours, which you can't pay for that. So I didn't know this until after the fact, but if you get a publicist, an expensive publicist, to get you airtime on a show like the Today Show, it's typically like a 15-minute segment. So they'll wear your jewelry or whatever, your shirt or whatever for 15 minutes. I made her this cup. She wore it for 4 straight hours and then tweeted it. Wow. And now, by the way, did those things create a massive influx in my business? The Kathy Lee thing, no. The HGTV thing, yes, because she, without my knowledge, on my birthday, I was at an event, like a local event, jewelry event or art event. And she posted on her Facebook page, Elizabeth has these bracelets, and I got 195 orders in an hour. Wow. It was insane. So, I mean, you have to, it's so important to just remove the attachment to when and how that growth is going to help your trajectory. And at the same time, have reverence and gratitude for how that growth makes those things possible.
Yeah. Well, this is not what I asked you, but I'm sure there's also a way to make sure that if you're writing a book for your business, there's a way to actually structure and seed things into your book to actually cause sales. I'm assuming.
Sales of the book?
No, sales of other stuff in your business.
All day.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line, obviously, between just mentioning your program on every page. And I've seen, here's a mistake that I have seen. I consider a mistake. Some people may consider it a best practice, but putting your website at the bottom of every single page of your book, like to me, that's just a massive ad. And I don't think it's, if you really draw people in, they're going to want to know more about you. So make sure you have your website in there and things like that. But you can absolutely subtly mention, like, this is what I do. And my intention with my book that I'm writing right now is wildly different, because my other books, I didn't have a course that went with them. I didn't have a coaching program. It was just something I wanted to say. It was something I wanted to share. This next book is different.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely talking about my coaching and my process.
Yeah. One thing I want to make sure that we do touch on is how do you market well, I don't think we've covered while we were recording that most people think they put out a book and that there'll be just automatically 1 million sales when the truth is you actually have to market your book. Like, let's go there first. That's an important.
You definitely have to market your book. It's like anything else. I mean, over 1 million titles will be published this year. If you don't talk about it, or when you stop talking about it, you will see a decrease for the most part. There are outliers, Atomic Habits and all, there are outliers that just consistently can't hurt me, that just consistently sell at this point because they've hit that tipping point. But in order to get there, you've got to keep pushing it. And I think one of the challenges, especially for business owners, when it comes to that is time. They're like, and also how. So I'm working with a client right now who is a very established CEO. And she's like, I know how to run this business, but I don't know how to, sell books. It is a little bit of a different beast. So number one, find someone who can help you understand that side of it. But one of the best suggestions, and it's so simple, it's crazy. Many business owners have assistants. So, or VAs or whatever. It is not turning that over just so that you can stay visible on your social media and you can keep your book visible with quotes and testimonials and excerpts. It's not hard to do. It does take a little bit of time. And I've had people turn that over to their teenage children because seriously, teenagers are so fast with social media, especially when it comes to TikTok. Like there's a solution.
Maybe I have to have kids.
What's that? Right. Or you can take some of mine. You want some of mine? Just flying over there. It's fine.
Hire some kids.
And the other nice thing about publishing in the way that, because I'm a self-publisher at heart, or small press. Self-publishing has such a bad rap. It still does, which is crazy because it's so doable now at the same quality and a much higher profit margin, much higher creative control margin, all those sorts of things than traditional. But with traditional, your editor, your publishing house, you have a very specific time frame that they expect you to earn out whatever they've given you as an advance, if they've given you an advance at all. And with self-publishing, you have full control over that. So I have people who go through busy business periods and they slow way down on the book promo, and then they bring it back up, and then they come, and it's really much more under your control and direction in that way.
Yeah. If you want to be able to actually decide what your cover is, don't traditionally publish. I think I've mentioned on the podcast before, I've helped 2 people do book launches with traditional publishers, and like they straight up needed a marketing team because the publisher doesn't do anything. Nothing. They don't do anything.
It's a huge misconception. And listen, I almost want to be fair to the traditional publisher in this, because I don't think that the traditional publishers are telling authors that they're going to do the marketing and then not doing it. I don't think that's what's happening. I think it's an expectation that authors have. And it's just, they don't ask the question because they make the assumption, or they are afraid to ask the question. And so then the reality comes out and they're frustrated or disappointed or both. But the reality is that traditional houses it's just a printer. Really. I mean, they're putting 100% of the investment in, they're taking 100% of the risk. So even though your profit margin is crap, if I can, like, it's nothing, as a business owner, I kind of get it. Because if I'm putting 100% taking 100% of the risk, I want 90% of the reward too. It's just that there's not enough conversation around how that all really works. For people to be able to make the best decision for them. And oftentimes authors are seeking that traditional publisher because that tells them my book is good. And then when your book doesn't sell well after 3 weeks and your publisher stops taking your phone calls, you're going to go through the same feelings of like, maybe it's not that good as you're going to go through it at some point. So just write a great book and feel awesome about it and be ready to promote it like it's your child, and support it like it's your child. Believe in it like it's your child.
Yeah. So you don't have to be a full-time marketer of the book. Got it.
Yeah.
But you do have to market the book.
No, you do not have to be a full-time marketer. You don't have to anything, but if you want it to have a continued trajectory, it's important to have some sort of a plan, or to accept that its decreased trajectory is because you're not doing anything. And then it's like, well, do I want something different? Yes. Okay. I got to do something different.
Yeah. Well, this has been so good, Elizabeth. I'm going to wrap it up because we've been here forever and
we can keep
I
going.
can't make this too long,
right.
But I do want to ask some off topic, quick questions for the fun of it.
Okay. God, I'm nervous.
So this podcast is called Business as a Magical Practice, and it is under the perception that a lot of us spiritual or magical people, we use our practices in order to boost up our business. Like we'll meditate so we're more productive, or we'll do spells to get more money. But it's also the flip side of it, of our business is this playground in order to have more deeper evolution and put ourselves into the fire of life. And I'm curious how you use your business as a magical practice.
Wow. Every single day. Because you asked me how, not when, but every single thing that happens, because truly not to be cliche and say things happen for us, not to us, but I see everything as an opportunity. So if I'm frustrated by something, if I'm triggered by something, if I'm elated by something, I make it a point to pay attention and figure out where in me, what in me is that igniting? What is that calling forth, either to be healed or because my soul wants more of that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with writing a book, by the way. I
believe it.
Yeah, it'll expand you in ways that you don't anticipate. But I love that perspective on running a business, because it's a roller coaster. And I think when you can learn we're in it, and then also we can back away and look into it to see what it's showing us about who we are.
Yeah. Because really we could live much simpler lives than we are. But when you run a business, oh, you have visibility issues. Well, you have to address that. Oh, you have people pleasing habits. Oh, you have to address that. Oh, you're afraid of being supported, and maybe you have control issues. Oh, you got to look at that.
Yeah. Some days and some months, I'm getting tired of looking at the energy.
Yeah.
I do. I'm enough, and even my own mentors sometimes will be like, it's your energy. And I'm like,
fuck you.
100%. Let me give you some energy right back in the form of this gesture, because it's hard work in the moment. It can be hard work, but it's so, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I think that when people have been in business for a long period of time, we've all had moments where it's do I just go out and get a real job? And it's just not an option. It's just not an option. Yeah. So,
well, it is something where for spiritual people who aren't in business, or they don't have very 3D world material goals, that's a beautiful thing, where they just want to be the sage on the mountain and get presents and really be in the moment, or whatever that thing is. Yeah. It's such a different thing when you are a spiritual person and you have these very material goals, and who you actually have to become in order to get there,
And I love that you said that, because in fact, I wrote a post yesterday that said, I'm far less impressed by your monetary wins than I am by who you had to become in order to achieve them. Yeah. And that's true in business and in books. Who you become through the process of building a business, regardless of how you define success, because we all define success. So you don't have to be 7 figures. You don't have to be 6 figures. You don't have to be 3 figures. It's like, but who you have to become in order to be in that place of contentment and to be able to be unmoved 93.6% of the time. Because I'm not going for 100%. Like there are going to be days when I'm like, fuck this. I can't. I'm moved. I am moved, and not in a good way. Right. But like to be able to be unmoved in situations that used to move you and not in a good way, used to trigger you. Like that's just, oh my God.
You know what? It always bugs me when I hear business owners at a certain level of success being like, I do the exact same practices as I did when I just got started. I'm like doing everything. Like this is the one thing for the entire, I just like don't believe them.
I don't believe
all.
it. Yeah.
It's just been like, for me to get to a certain level of like business off the ground to like sustainable, like it was like grit. It was like willingness to do the work. It was willingness to be uncomfortable. And then like, okay, you get past that point. It's like, okay, like, can I actually like do things more from pleasure? Can I be more supported? Can I like take more time off? Like, of course, that's like willingness to do uncomfortable things on some level, but it's like, it's just so different.
It's a belief shifting thing. You know, I mean, I can only speak to my own experience, but when I started, oh my gosh, like the grit and the hustle, like I was such a fan of the word hustle. It's like hustle and grind and grit and grit. I am allergic to the word hustle. And that does not at this point, and that does not mean that I do not work hard, because I do, but I have started to accept and acknowledge that there can be a spaciousness around what I do. In that spaciousness is where my greatest insights come in. It's where my greatest like grace for myself comes in, you know? And so I don't know if I believe that people are doing the exact same. I think there's got to be a shift in there somewhere.
They're simplifying to the point that it's not useful. That's what I got to say to that.
Very well said. Very well said. Yeah.
Okay. That was supposed to be a quick question. That didn't happen. I would love to hear what have been your favorite purchases for business and for pleasure in the recent times.
Man. Okay. I'm not a big like purchasing person, if I'm being honest. So I think about this. Pleasure, this is going to just so on the nose. It's crazy. But I mean, I just buy books like they're going out of it. Like they're not good. Like they're going to stop printing them. I love books. I love flowers. Freshly cut, unique things that are, I haven't, Trader Joe's is like my haunt for flowers. Like I just love it.
It's great feng shui too. So
is it? Oh,
yeah.
That's good to know. Business, man, I don't know. Like I have a lot of, apps that I like, tools, and I'm not in love with it. I did just upgrade my iPhone. I feel great about that because I go live and I needed the storage. So I love that. I have a little fan in my office that I got a while ago that is like life-saving because I have no air circulation in here. So I love that.
Yeah. I just ordered some weird EMF blocker type things that were expensive that I'm like testing out. Let's see if they work. I always don't know about stuff like that.
Who knows, like, right?
I'm obviously gonna buy this.
Yeah. And why not? I mean, but man, that's a really, really good question.
It's a fun one. Okay. And I'm just going to keep going because I'm having fun. Okay, this is going to be such a hard question for you. What are 3 books you recommend for the listeners?
For entrepreneurs, did you say?
For the listeners. So
for the listeners, okay.
Entrepreneurs.
One is definitely Frequency by Penny Pierce.
Okay.
I'm on it for the second time.
What is it about?
It's about your vibration, your personal vibration, and like really understanding the frequency at which you vibrate and how to shift that and really just how to understand it. It's
not frequency of posts.
No, it's not about that. I really enjoyed recently Busting Loose from the Money Game by Robert Scheinfeld. I'm actually listening to that for the second time too. And another one, actually, so I read this one. I'm on apparently I'm repeating things. Oh, well, I'm going to break a rule and make it 4. But the third one would be The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I read that. Now I'm listening to it. Love it even more the second time around because I'm just in a different space than I was when I read it the first time. But the fourth one to break the rule is The Alchemist.
Yeah.
I just love it. And that's business, life, like all of it. One of my favorite books. I've probably read it 7 times and I take something different from it every single time.
Oh, that's good. Okay. And do you know your sun, moon, and rising in astrology?
No. I'm a Sagittarius.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know I get like really overwhelmed. My oldest daughter could tell you all of that about me, but no.
Yeah. And what's your human design?
Manifesting generator.
Okay, great. Okay. Those are all the questions I have for you. How do people find you on the internet? How do they go deeper with you? Who do you work with?
On the interwebs, the best place is my website, elizabethlyons.com. I'm most active on Instagram, which is Elizabeth Lyons Author is my handle over there. But everything is on my website, all my social media, any free downloads that I have are there. All of my programs are listed there. So it's the best place.
So how do they go deeper with you? Like,
So I have 3 programs right now. So I have the Book Writing Accelerator, which is great for people who are ready to like literally not literally, but metaphorically put the pedal to the metal when it comes to their books. That's my 12-week program with 12 weeks of coaching. We get the book written and we also go in depth into publishing. So how to actually publish it step by step so you can get it out into the world.
Essentially want the book now. Like this is
the book now. Like, this is the next step in your business evolution and you're ready to go. And like, you love to just dive into the deep end. That program is for you. Then I have Book Writing Made Simple, which is the exact same tactical process that I give them because my process is the same no matter what, but that I give Book Writing Accelerator, but it's a little bit more of a spacious program. So it's 6 months as opposed to 3 months. And it's coaching once a month. So you drop into the coaching containers once a month. And we don't even touch the publishing because a lot of the people in that space are either not sure yet if they want to go self or if they maybe want to find a literary agent and try to go traditional. They're not married to anything yet. And so they're willing to have a little bit of flexibility about that. Those are my 2 book writing programs. And then I have Publish a Profitable Book, which is my step-by-step. You've got your book written. Now, how do you get it edited, cover design, all the things you need to do to be able to hold it in your hands and be a published author. So yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So what's your final message for everyone?
God, it's always the same. Like just write the damn book already. Unless you're about to deliver quintuplets or some, just write the damn thing. There's every time's a great time, unless you're getting ready to have quintuplets.
Or what was the other thing?
Or like you're grinding 20 hours a day to try to really build you have no revenue or very low amount of revenue, very low, like you're building your email list, you just started everything. You're brand new. If you really don't know yet what your process even is, you don't have to be 100% solid, but we got to be over the 60% line there for it to feel not overwhelming. Yeah.
So write the damn book already, everyone. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. This was so fun. I could talk to you forever.
I know, right?
Bye, guys.